Hey, what's up? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of SimplyPodLogical, a Simply Nailogical podcast.
Hello, everyone. We're back again.
Oh my God, we're back. The Backstreet Boys were just in Ottawa.
I know. My
we
sister
missed
went.
It. She went?
Yeah, I know.
Why didn't you go?
I don't know. Jen, what the hell?
No invitation.
No one invited me.
Today's episode is brought to you by Holo Taco. We just released the Dark Rainbow collection for the darkness inside all of us.
Dark luck, your soul.
We're filming this on the Sunday, the day after the release. The collection box is sold out, but all the individual shades are still available. Thank you so much to everyone already for your support. But if you want to check that out, you can go to www.holotaco.com.
Ben, what's your favorite shade? Don't lie.
I like Lost in the Woods a lot. Mm-hmm. I also like Burnt Bridges quite a bit, which is the sort of, I guess, the dark orange polish, but it's really more
like a
copper.
Brown or copper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like those would pair really well together.
What's your least favorite?
No. I love all
Okay, what's your favorite?
My favorite is Dead Petals. Because I just love that dark, like poison berry magenta kind of color. Totally suits me. It's my favorite, and I just really like the name. I mean, I name them all, but I really like that name, Dead Petals. It's just kind of cute. All
cool.
right. So
all right.
yes, the box is sold out. I just wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone. It went faster than we thought it did. It sold out in 12 hours. So just honestly, thank you so much to everyone. I can't wait to see everyone's manis, but all the polishes are available as individuals. So it's okay. Do not fret.
It's okay.
It's okay. You can still paint your nails in dark rainbow.
Everything is going to be okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you everyone again. So after a Holo Taco launch, I think we always feel like a little bit of this, we're up here and then we're like, we can breathe. So we thought it would be okay if we did just something. We wanted to just open up to audience questions. It's been a while since we just sort of did a Ask Me Anything.
Yeah.
Just open it up to audience comments, questions, whatever you want to know about, right?
Yeah, and I love doing audience solicited questions or input because it's exactly, what you guys want to hear. So we're just like, I can't think of a topic. Let's let people tell us what topic to do because I'm tired.
We can't do another Reddit one already.
No. Let's just ask the people what they want. So you guys had a ton of really good questions, and we kind of have a mix of some fun and more serious conversational ones.
Yeah, so let's
thank
just
you guys.
Get right into it. First one from Kim Thompson. Was there anything you would have wanted to film on the Simply Nailogical channel but never did because you didn't think it would suit your regular type of content at the time or because of the algorithm? Also for Ben, was there any sort of video ideas you would have wanted Cristine to do that you would have found fun to take part in or just a good idea that you didn't want to suggest at the time for similar reasons? Thank you for your question, Tim. Cristine, is there anything that immediately comes to mind here?
I think the question itself is interesting because it kind of assumes that maybe we decided against content because it wasn't conducive to the algorithm.
And that wasn't really.
And I think I never
Yeah.
didn't make a video because I was like, oh, this won't do well. Like, I don't really care. Like, I definitely had videos that didn't do as well because they were very niche nail stuff that I knew doesn't appeal to a mass audience. But I don't care.
There were a few times you did videos where I remember us talking before, like, we know this is not going to do well. And it was just what you felt like making at the time.
Right. Or like more niche. Yeah. But I didn't, early on I was like, I just want to explore these combinations. And I don't care if it won't go viral.
I will say, as you sort of became less motivated or interested in making main channel videos, there were still times we'd have conversations about ideas you had for what main channel videos could be. That would have been really good if you actually wanted to still make videos. I can't, I don't know what really comes to mind here. Like, there's stuff with, like, the nail bot you would have done.
Yeah.
There was, we were going to do, like, a fake wedding video at some point. Like, we're not getting married, but just, like, threw a big party about it. Do you remember that?
Well, I can think of ideas that we thought would be funny, but they ultimately didn't come to fruition because there was too many risks in either making it or publishing it.
Oh, what are you thinking of?
Well, like the wedding one, that was funny, but I also thought that there was a risk of people misinterpreting it as like we got fake married and people not liking that. So I don't really like that message either. But we did joke about making that video. Mm-hmm. And there was 2 other videos that we definitely talked about making, but just didn't end up doing. One of them was joining a nail related MLM.
Yes.
Because I wanted to explore it and be like, And it would obviously be through a critical lens. That's kind of what my intention was. But I thought, what if I join it so I can get firsthand experience and insight? And I thought about it, and then I was going to like look into signing up and realize they needed like your bank account based in the States. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm not gonna do this. And then also just, you know, thinking through publishing a video, which you have to do regardless of what you're making. How would people receive it? Maybe I'm overlooking some things. I wasn't sure if I was covering all my bases and being able to do that in a responsible way, because I was also maybe if it was going to be a negative critical commentary on MLMs, I also don't want to insult, you know, the women who are working for that particular company that I was exploring and make them feel bad. So there was all these good reasons why I ultimately decided, like, let's not go there. But I thought about it.
Well, it's interesting. And you'll see videos now from certain YouTubers, like, who is it? Like Drew Gooden, like, I took Ninja's masterclass.
That's fast.
And then he gives like a review of it. That's always, I find that kind of content
good.
really interesting, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's that. Anything else?
The OnlyFans one.
Yeah.
Well, when OnlyFans first came out and everyone was talking about it, and before it kind of had the reputation it has today, it had a different reputation, at least publicly, a few years ago. I thought it would be funny at the time if I'd made an OnlyFans, but for me peeling off my nails, because it was in the phase where I was making parodies.
Yeah, here's my naked nails.
And it would just, I thought it like would be hilarious. So I looked into it, but then there was too many really good, valid reasons that I didn't feel comfortable actually making content out of that. One of them is I, you know, didn't want to undermine people who work through OnlyFans or on OnlyFans as their main source of income and like, you know, put them in a bad place. I didn't want to indirectly like abuse the use of that platform by me not taking it seriously, which kind of came out later to be like a big problem. Like other influencers did that. Yeah. But this was even before I realized that was a thing. And then I also, when I was actually starting to think about it, I didn't want my fans genuinely paying me money for me peeling off my nails. Even though it was like a joke and would have been for content or something, like I thought that maybe that wasn't the best move.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Next question?
Yeah.
From Kim T. Hey, Cristine. Do you and Ben have any plans on going back to visit the U.S.? I'd like to hear if there were any other creators you guys thought you would make good friends if you got a chance to. Hope you guys had fun with Saf and Ty. Loved the streams. So yeah, this is coming out the week after Sophia and Tyler were here. The last podcast was with Sophia and Tyler. First time we had 4 people in this room all hanging out.
It was fun. It was so much fun.
Apologies for the audio on that episode. I kind of messed that one up. Yeah, that was great. It was really good having them here.
Yeah, talking in real life.
It was way too long since it's one thing to like talk over Zoom and text, right? But to actually be together with some friends, it had been a while, and that was really good. Mm-hmm. We'll go to Raleigh at some point.
To North Carolina.
Where they live now. Yeah. So we just got to figure that out. I think we are slightly more open to traveling at this point. We've talked about how we just haven't really been comfortable getting on planes and things like that. We have driven to the States.
Yeah, we haven't been on, or I haven't been on a plane.
Yeah.
You have once, but we haven't been on a plane for like, you know, leisure reasons, let's say. Leisurely time with friends. Yeah. Yet.
Yeah. So I think we are open to traveling to the States, hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Yes. Casual Manny, what is your favorite time of year and why, Cristine?
Now.
Right now?
Right now. It's
we in fall?
September. Goodbye, summer. I'm over you. Entering dark mode.
It's not fall until I've had a pumpkin spice latte, Cristine.
Well, you could go get one right now.
I know.
They are like every coffee shop around us is like pumpkin this or caramel brew or
I know,
whatever.
it's too early. I went into the Shoppers Drug Mart, grocery store, drugstore, pharmacy.
Halloween candy.
They've had Halloween candy since August. Like, why?
People want to be prepared, you know?
Who's buying Halloween candy in August? Nobody,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, that is, I don't know. I mean...
Even now. Well, you shouldn't be buying it now.
Yeah, why are you buying it now? Comment down below if you buy your Halloween candy in August. Why? I would actually like to know. Like, is it like prep? Because you think they're all going to sell out?
I think it's because they're going to eat it now.
But it's full price now. You could just wait until October 31st and then they're like half
just
price.
Live your life waiting for sales. I want it now.
Okay, but
Instant
why August? You can buy candy here. Guys, you can buy the same chocolates in larger sizes for less money under the not Halloween section. I don't know if people know that. But just in case you didn't know, you don't need to buy the Halloween candy to eat it. You can buy the same candy.
I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but there are chocolate bars.
There's chocolate bars in every store that you'll find Halloween candy.
But what if you like? I just like the little mini fun size ones, you know? Because I can eat like 27 of them.
Chop up your chocolate bars. You'll save a lot of money that way.
And you can even repackage them?
If you want. There's like saran wrap for that.
You can put them in a pillowcase?
No, they would
relive your childhood?
Why would you put it in a pillowcase?
Like you're trick-or-treating.
Oh, like the trick-or-treat bag.
You could just like give yourself the trick-or-treat experience at home. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All melted together.
All right, Christine, this question also has a second part. What is your favorite sociological theory or one that stands out to you? When was the last time you thought about theory, Simply Nailogical?
The theory of Holo. No. I don't know. I guess I have no choice but to say whatever theories I discussed in my thesis, which was like the sciences and the pathologization of human behavior.
Is that a sociological theory?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The pathologization of behavior to essentially, okay, let me explain what that means. It means to apply more medicalized descriptions to things that might just actually be either a social construct or the consequence of environment. It's like the lack of acknowledging that environmental factors or social factors might come into play to explain a behavior and just jumping right to the medicalization.
Okay.
And that's why they call it the pathologization, because you're turning it into a pathology without considering the other factors.
Anyone who's read Foucault would probably recognize that as biopolitics. Mm-hmm. But it was a tough term to translate from French to English, I think. He's actually you're right. There's no really one word to kind of label that. I think most people are just used to hearing like strain theory or like,
Right. This was more niche, I guess, but it's kind of what I explored in my thesis. So I don't know. It's the last thing that comes to mind.
I was into actor network theory before I dropped out.
Do tell.
I think it was, I don't really want to get into it.
Like, I don't really remember.
I don't remember all that well.
Why do you remember
I
like
remember
it?
I started gravitating more towards, academics or sociological research that really focused on like, the focus there was on like networks of things and people being explanations for social behavior rather than more like abstract concepts like culture. Because I always found like it often seemed like kind of a lazy I think when people try to explain something with something as just like it's an effect of culture or like such broad social constructs, it's usually just a lazy way of like not really digging into what is actually accounting for things when it really does come down to for more sort of localized relationships between things and people that actually cause effects that affect people in real life.
Okay.
So I thought that was an interesting way. And it's also like more of an emphasis on empiricism than pure theory. Anyway, this is probably interesting to like 2 people.
2%. 2% or 2 people? Probably 2 people.
Less than 5%. All right, next one from Anna Tria. A lot of people see you two as couple goals, but what is the biggest challenge you two had to deal with as a couple? Are we couple goals?
We didn't monetize our relationship enough when we could have.
I think we did it enough. We probably did it just enough.
No, we could have made like 8 videos on when will he propose on my main channel. And we would have had 10 times as much money.
We still could, yeah. This is working together
is a challenge.
Is the biggest challenge we've had to deal with. And separating where that ends and the non-business part of our lives happens. Because there is no line there, really.
No.
So much of what we do and work on together, and we enjoy each other's company while working on things. So it has sort of blurred the lines.
But it's not just that we're in a couple who works together. It's actually what kind of work we do. Because we have the rare experience of having worked together in a more traditional job. Like when we worked together literally on the same floor for years as a crime statistics analyst. And sometimes, I think just once we co-wrote a paper, sort of. But then other times, like we might be in the same meeting or we would cross paths with like, I need something from your team. Like, give me the data now. Hurry up, Ben. But like we would do that. And then like, it would be easy to separate that once we went home because we're like, we're done. We don't care. We don't talk about that work that
you're
much.
Right. That's actually a really good point because that was never an issue.
No.
It's on the YouTube side of things where it kind of was an issue at a certain point.
Well, because it's the nature of the work. With government crime statistics analysts, it's done at 5 p.m. We don't care. I mean, with respect,
Yeah.
you can get that out of your mind and go back to work at 8
Well, it's
a.m. the
also
next
like
morning.
if we were working on something at work together, maybe like I would try to help you on a technical aspect of a paper you were writing. I'm not like sitting there giving you notes on a video that is you talking to people that could be like,
Yeah.
let's get into this a bit. Because like I would watch a lot of Simply content before you would publish it. And sometimes I would have opinions on it or offer advice on what is or isn't funny or and things like that. And I think it was hard to, sometimes I think you felt like I was like criticizing you. And I think that was really hard on you.
Yeah.
And it put me in a position where like, I don't know if I should even be doing this at all.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a few things here. Sometimes you'd watch an edit that I'd made and you would think that a few jokes aren't funny or you'd think it was cringy or something. And then I would get upset because I'm like, but this is literally my sense of humor. So, and I think my audience, who I feel like I know really well, would like this dumb meme face of me or the line over my head.
Yeah.
And you would be like, no, it's too cringy. And it was me having a hard time with like, does he just think I'm cringy? Like, or are you trying to think of it from like an honest PR perspective? Like this objectively is cringy and you don't want to see me have negative reactions to it. So it was a very difficult to kind of parse that out.
It's not objective. All I could give you is my subjective opinion.
Am I objectively cringy? Comment down below. We should do a poll.
Yeah, and it's just hard because like the product was you, right? So
Yes. Whereas in traditional work as crime statistics, the product, I mean, even though I was writing a paper with my name on it, I don't really care if you tell me that I did this wrong. Just give me the right way to do it and it'll be fine, you know? But that's not really transferable to when you're the main face of a YouTube channel or a content creator.
yeah. Anyway,
So that's our biggest challenge is doing this.
we're not. We have like the normal issues any relationship might have. We're not. Like,
Sure. Yeah,
we'll
we're
get
not
into-
perfect.
Yeah, we just don't put that on the internet, right?
Yeah. Could make money putting it on the internet. I'm just kidding.
All right, next one from Sephora Rothschild. Do you feel like your background in data science, which includes dashboarding metrics skills, made you better prepared for more than most YouTube influencers to pivot to, business management, analyzing data, insights, etc.? Yes.
Yeah.
Not for like YouTube and Holo Taco and understanding both of those businesses, right? Not that someone without a statistics background couldn't succeed,
Yep. You can always learn on the job.
or you could just have people around you that do it too, right?
You can always defer to experts.
I certainly think we have been very hands-on in wanting to understand in both those, ventures, the data behind it. And I think it helps to see those trends hands-on. Yeah.
Yeah, for me personally, I'm really happy that I happen to have a long-standing background in statistics of some kind, because it absolutely helps me to be able to like pull some data from our back-end store, look at sales, look at trends, but also be able to put them in context with seasons and customers and other variables at play and understand how that can impact trends over time. And like it's just intuitive to me, whereas it may not be for someone who hasn't had years of work experience related to that. And although this is a new field like cosmetic sales that obviously I don't have experience in, having any background in statistics or running data yourself for me has made it fun to like, okay, well, I'll pull this data about my nail polish now, and I know I can do it, and I know what I'm looking at. I know the unit of analysis, and I know how that differs for X, for whatever reason.
Yeah, if anything, I think it's the experience. What it offers is like a lot of people could go to their Shopify store and just like pull charts and insights and analytics that they kind of prepare for you that are very useful. I wonder if maybe our experience with stats is we know what sort of questions to ask about what could be skewing the data, or how was that data even compiled in the first place. I think there's certain questions we know to ask that helps us interpret the data rather than just this is a chart.
Yeah.
These are sales.
And
right?
one of those things is like you could look at top sellers, but you also have to control for when were they released. And there's just like things like that we just kind of know intuitively from working in stats that I think have really helped us like understand immediately what we're looking at and what some of the limitations might be to be able to run custom reports. And like with the Holo Taco royalty survey that I released recently, I'm pulling and running that data myself and putting it into to pivot tables and doing like cross tabs, because I just know how to do that and it's fun. Honestly, it's just fun.
Yeah, you just enjoy.
I just love it. Yeah.
So just to give some context there, you'd recently sent out surveys to people in the top tier of the loyalty program,
At Holo
asking
Taco,
them
yes.
about some of their preferences,
Yeah.
and things like that. And yeah, I guess people wouldn't be surprised that you are analyzing that data.
Yeah, I also designed the survey. I wrote the questions, and we have experience in survey design.
Yeah. And like there definitely could have been a way that you didn't have to be the person doing that.
Right.
I think you enjoy it.
I feel like
Yeah.
I wanted to do it, and it shouldn't be a priority for me
Probably
in
not.
the scope of the entire Holo Taco brand to be designing surveys and then running the data. Like obviously that could be delegated, but I genuinely just wanted to make the time to do it because I love it. And it is fun to just be able to put, a skill set that I do have to use.
Yeah.
So,
And it's awesome to see those sort of worlds colliding in a way.
yeah. I feel like, I don't know, I want to do more of that, but I also know it's like not the best use of my time, but it just really excites me.
Oh, do what you want.
Okay.
From Jessica Daly, what is one thing you learned while launching Holo Taco that you wish you knew before starting your own brand? And would it have made you decide not to start the brand or start it sooner?
I mean, yeah, totally knowing the future would always help. But if we had to pick one thing,
I guess there's a lot. There's a few things here. Obviously, we've learned a lot in the last 3 years. Maybe I'll just like forecasting is one that I just think we should talk about, especially in the context of like opening this podcast with the box already selling out. Because I know it's something we've thought a lot about. Like, I didn't anticipate how much of the business, how much forecasting would be a challenge for the brand.
right?
Because like people will know, like, because you are pretty transparent about this, like how many of the collection sets sell within like the first 5, 15, 30 minutes.
I give live updates on stream usually.
Yeah. So it is pretty routine for like 50% of the collection sets to be gone within like half an hour of a launch. And then it's like, what do you call it? A survival,
the survival
curve, right?
curve dips.
You see that trail off really badly. So I know we've tried really hard to keep things in stock for a reasonable amount of time, so people have an opportunity to
And
not
we-
just impulse
we
buy. We
generally
want
do.
them, yeah, and we do,
Yeah.
and we have. I guess I would just want people to know that like we do really care and think about this, and to also maybe just be mindful of like, yeah, there have been a few times things have sold out way too quickly. There's also been times things have stayed in stock a long time.
There's been more times that things have stayed in stock
Especially
for longer than a
lately.
day. Yes.
And the business and financial implications of overstocking things is actually like a really serious issue we have to consider for a business that we have to be really careful to, right? So it's just really hard
to find the
that
right
sweet spot.
Yeah.
And I don't think I knew when we were first talking about doing this how much we would have to think about like what the perfect amount of product is. I didn't necessarily think the spikes in sales would be what they are with the launches.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, like, of course, we would have had to figure out what made sense, but you would think, okay, well, can't you just look at your past and, like, just copy paste? And it's like, no.
It's not, yeah.
There's too many variables. There's seasons change, people's financial status. We are, still in a post-pandemic kind of world. People change their minds. They may have different purchasing decisions. There's supplier impacts on quantities for things we can get. There's, do people resonate with it? Do they feel like, the price point of something? There's so many variables that make every collection so different. So you can't just copy paste from the results of the last collection.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a pretty wide range. And we also have to make these decisions months and months before
like
a collection comes out.
Almost a year, we're already thinking of, how many, or if there's a collection box, for sure.
Yeah.
It's much longer.
So that's a challenge. And then I guess the other thing I think worth touching on, at least a little bit, is we thought of Holo Taco as a way of bringing like unique polishes, special polishes that you aren't going to find in the drugstore, and making those accessible to a mainstream audience. And there are definitely challenges to what can be released. Just because we can find amazing, fancy pigments or prototype something amazing, that is just one step in determining if it can be released in a bottle of Holo Taco. And I think like for you know, I don't think we want to get into it much more than that, but there are just certain standards we hold ourselves to that.
I think another way to put it is there's a niche group of people out there who are very invested in like indie or smaller nail polish brand creations and what they do. And I often see that small group of people compare like to Holo Taco and be like, can Holo Taco do this? Can Holo Taco do that? And while I've explored everything under the sun and the moon for what we can do and what I want, and obviously, but there's a number of reasons why Holo Taco chooses to release what it does. One of them is quantities. You know, we have to make sure we can get enough of something, which may not be the same question that other brands deal with. And then another one is it goes, whatever we release, the pigments, all of the pigments, everything that goes into a bottle, which is more than just one thing, right? Sometimes there's multiple things from different suppliers. We have to do our due diligence, or the lab rather has to do its due diligence to make sure that everything going in that bottle is quality controlled, checked, passes a number of tests here and there. So that's also something that when you're a company with a large following and face like Holo Taco, there's different considerations for us than there might be then from someone just, for example, who like might mix polish out of their home in like a custom creation sense.
Yeah. And just like the sort of suppliers of ingredients is like a big aspect of that too.
Yeah. So if I feel like I didn't really know that, I guess, to answer this question. I didn't realize that. I'm just like, what's that? Can I get that? Easy, done. And it's like, no, you can't.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. From Lefty Ray Nails. What is each of your least favorite Holo Taco shades? Cristine.
Excuse
Do you have
me.
a least favorite?
Why do people always want to do this to me?
They always want to know that.
What do you hate the most, Cristine, that you designed?
People want to know your favorites and usually my least favorite. Ben's least favorite things.
They do.
Matcha
Okay.
maker.
Why? Ben, why did you so confidently just say you hated one? Why?
I don't hate it, but like if I have to pick a least favorite, I don't like that color, I don't think.
You don't like Matcha Maker. Is it the name? No, it's the color.
It's this like kind of jade green,
Sage green.
sage green. I just don't
What do you
don't
have
like,
against sage green?
I don't know, I just don't love
It's
that
just
color.
not your color. It's not your color palette, but that's fine. You
I'm
know?
more of a seafoam home guy than a
Okay.
matcha maker guy.
So you like cool tones saturated on the lighter
Yes.
side, aqua, as opposed to desaturated, kind of milky, earthy green, light green.
Yeah, but I'm a sample size of 1 over here.
I know. Yeah, you don't have to listen to Ben, okay? Out there, if there's any matchmaker lovers out there, don't listen to Ben. Okay.
There's a Ben's favorite things bundle. by
It
the
does
way.
not include matchmaker.
Or what is it called?
We should make a Ben's least favorite bundle. Do you have 3 others?
No, I'd have to think about it.
Imagine what a sales pitch. Or you go to a Holo Taco and you see Ben's least
Buy
favorite
Ben's
bundle.
least favorite polishes.
Oh my god, it's awful. Okay. I hate this question. But
You don't have to answer.
No, I feel like
No one's
it'd
forcing
be
you to.
annoying, and I don't want to eat hummus. I did say I would eat hummus if I don't answer, but I don't feel like eating hummus.
Oh, I wasn't aware of this. We should have said that up front.
We wrote that in
Those
the
are the
questions.
stakes. Oh, okay. I forgot about
Okay, well, Ben forgot what we decided to write.
All right, you have to answer, or
Okay, I have one.
eating hummus is a great thing.
No.
Just don't answer the question.
Not doing it. I have to say, and let me explain.
Just tell us.
Okay, I'll say scattered Holo Taco.
Oh,
Now, let me be very clear.
OG?
It's not a bad polish or formula. It's a wonderful galaxy effect, sparkles on top kind of formula. But personally, when I'm reaching for a Holo Taco, which let me specify, for a holographic topper, because I'm like Holo Taco's everything,
Yeah.
I want something that's really like in your face because that's just my personal preference. So I either want flaky Holo Taco, which is probably my favorite because it's like dazzling and blingy with larger flakes. It's more obvious, I guess is the point. Or linear Holo Taco, which is more transformative because it adds like a more uniform sheen of hollow rainbows in tight lines that are very condensed on the nail. So you can kind of transform any creme or polish to looking holographic. Scattered Holo Taco is the more gentle
It's a little
of
more
the three.
understated.
And I don't really reach for it. So maybe that's why. It doesn't mean it's bad. Yeah. It's just like my style is in your face.
It's definitely a more subtle polish. Yeah.
But a lot of people love it.
And there are people who do like it a lot. Yeah.
A lot of people, when I asked people to vote once, a lot of people said that like people are crazy for not picking Scattered Holo because it's more gentle. It gives like a galaxy effect with tiny little stars, and that's why people like it. But I guess I want more than a galaxy.
I know there are definitely people who it has its what's the word? It has its supporters. There are
Fans.
people who purchase it, but yeah, it's probably not as well. It's probably the least selling,
and
of
that's
the three
probably
top
my
votes.
fault because I say things like this. Do not be influenced by my personal preference. Like honestly, like some people really like it and prefer it. Don't listen to me.
All right, and last one from Tough Ass Nails. Was there something that Holo Taco detectives caught on to that you didn't expect them to guess right? And if so, what was it?
Did you say last one?
Last Holo Taco theme.
So like
Sorry.
last one. We're ending early. It's only been half an hour. Goodbye.
No, there is something that immediately comes to mind here. We talked about this right before.
Yes.
Early on, the Discord had only existed for a short while at this point. So the Holo Taco detectives, for anyone listening, just refers to there's a community of people. There's a Discord channel too for people who just are trying to guess what Holo Taco is releasing next.
I'll put the
And
link
Cristine
to my Discord
makes it
down
a little
below.
too easy for them sometimes.
What you're talking about.
But I remember before the Tea Cremes collection came out.
Before it was even teased.
Yeah, I can't remember
was
what
before
had
it
been
was
leaked about
teased.
it, but like it's not like you had been leaking shades
No.
or names or anything. Someone put together like an image and they dropped it in the Discord channel. That was like, I want a fall theme collection like this. Or I can't remember what the
About
caption
tea,
was, but
yeah.
it was like, it literally had a range of like 6
Cremes.
cremes in very similar colors.
It was so close. And at that point, I believe they posted this in July, and the tea creme collection came out in September.
Yeah.
So it was already finalized. Like
would have
our
already
collection's already
approved.
final. No, it's more than approved. It had probably been approved
Yeah.
months before. We already the collection box was done, probably almost done being made at that point, and the polishes were done. And then I look at this, and I'm
was-
like, what?
It was so close that like it's the only time I think we ever wondered like, is there someone involved in some
Leaking?
step of the process that was maybe leaking information?
Yeah,
every
well,
other
no,
time
I didn't actually think that.
I thought that
But
because
it wasn't exactly the same. If it was
it
exactly
was
the
so
same,
close.
it was not. No, I mean,
was
sorry,
close.
it was incredibly close and impressive in retrospect.
Because
But
every other time we can point to like, oh, Cristine showed her nails with that on, or she accidentally showed a swatch
she
wheel in the
literally
background.
told people on
Or
stream.
you just told people. That one was the strangest one for me.
yeah, I remember that. That was good job. Good job.
It's fun though.
Shout
like,
out to the Holo Taco detectives. We love you. You are too good. If I ever need a private investigator, I will hire you.
yeah, and obviously we don't mind this. We lean into it.
There's
It's
literally a
fun.
channel on my official Discord for doing Holo Taco detective work.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll put the link to that down below.
And you know what? I will say, one time something leaked before it came out.
Was that Remix?
This was
'Cause it
the
on
second
the
anniversary
shopping?
collection.
Yeah.
Accidentally got published the
Right.
day before to like a Google shopping page.
And people could find it just by
And
like,
people
Googling.
could find it.
Yeah.
And these groups of people, as much as they want to like guess what's coming next, a lot of them were like, hey, this isn't actually fun because it's like a real leak.
This feels wrong.
Yeah, and like a lot of them like didn't share that information, which was actually pretty cool. So
Yeah.
I like that it's more about the sort of gamesmanship of trying to guess what's next and do their detective work and not
Yeah.
actually exploiting.
Anything that
Things.
I put on my socials, say in my stream, Ben
all
accidentally
fair
shows,
game.
that's all fair game. Just don't do other things.
Yeah.
Just don't like break into things. You know what I mean? That's not cool.
Yes. Okay, next one. Since your time on YouTube, it has changed dramatically. There have been people who've come and gone. Do you think YouTube is a safe space for people to be themselves like it was in the late 2000s and early 2010s, or has it morphed into a predatory place for new creators? I mean, YouTube has certainly changed a lot. People have come and gone.
Yeah.
When you started on YouTube, I don't think there was really a roadmap for like people retiring from YouTube or no longer making YouTube videos.
There had been some early creators who weren't big or obvious on the platform anymore. But you're right. There wasn't like that many cases of people like being like, I've been here for long enough. I'm going to move on to the next chapter.
And even now, I don't know if there's, I think a lot of people struggle with like, how does a YouTube career not necessarily end, but like, I think we were always realistic about this
From
wasn't going to
day
be
one.
something you did
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah, we always said that and kind of like joked about it too. But like,
But it wasn't clear like what that actually meant. Like, how do you stop posting videos? And that became like a real issue for you. When this question asks about it being predatory or like it wasn't predatory.
what does that make you think of? I know what I
Yeah,
think
I'm
of.
not totally. I guess the main thing I'm thinking of is when companies realized they could make money off of people. Because I think there's kind of like two shifts that happened. At a certain point, once people realized you could make a lot of money on YouTube, companies, MCNs got involved and were
And
predatory.
MCN is a multi-channel network.
Yeah, these don't really exist
Yeah.
anymore. But for a while, you would have a lot of companies saying, hey, new up and coming creator, sign a contract with us. You get locked into them. They promise you they're going to make you a lot of money, but then they just kind of like own you or own your content.
Yeah.
And a lot of people signed a lot of really bad deals because they were just sort of naive or didn't have good advice or a lawyer reading contracts for them.
I think that still exists today, but in multiple different forms. Like now, instead of MCNs, you have way more YouTube or TikTok creators represented by talent agencies, by managers. They have business managers. You have way more brand incubators, which I don't even know if that existed. I mean, maybe it did, but it wasn't a thing. There's so many companies out there that call themselves brand incubators that are kind of constantly reaching out to new and upcoming creators being like, hey, do you want a brand? We'll build you one. You don't have to do any work. Just like come to the photo shoot. I know because I still
You
get those emails, which
yeah.
makes no sense because I already have a brand. But you know, that wasn't a thing when I first started, or it wasn't as common. And then there's also oh, I had a last one, now I can't remember, sorry.
Well, there's just the shift in, I guess that's a big shift, but there's also just a big shift in the people creating YouTube channels in the first place. Now knowing that there's serious financial implications. Like the very early on YouTube time, people were making videos with no idea they were going to make money doing it, right? So I think you had people just doing it for different reasons. Whereas now there's way more sort of, I think people whose their intention in wanting to do it is because they think it can achieve a certain status or celebrity or lifestyle as well.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's just, I'm not saying that's a bad thing or judging people for that, but it has definitely changed the kind of people you see
As creators.
becoming successful or wanting to become creators, I think.
And because there's more people like that that are more in the creator sphere because they're like business oriented or success oriented, you're going to have more companies that are like, oh, these creators will respond well to messaging like, hey, creator, we'll make you more money. Here's how, and here's what we can do for you, but we'll just like take a cut. The last thing I wanted to say, the other new thing that I've seen in the last couple of years that I don't recall seeing like 7 years ago, was there's more companies that exist now to help creators take their content and repurpose it across all different social platforms. They're like, hey, you make videos on one platform, give them to us, sign a contract, we'll give you a bunch of money up front, but we will decide how to edit it and we will put them on every platform, we'll control the ad revenue and give you part of it.
Yeah.
That is literally everywhere, to the point that I think like sometimes you're probably scrolling on Facebook and you're seeing all these cut up videos of a bunch of people. A lot of that, not all of it, is these companies that have kind of propositioned creators and creators signed a contract to do so. I will just say, because people will be like, don't you do that? I do not do that, but I have cut up my videos and put them on Facebook. But I'm not currently working with a company that I've signed a contract with. I do it myself.
Yeah. And I want to be clear, like, I know for you, like, your sort of independence and ownership of your brand, your videos has always been, like, super important to you. These things work for a lot of people. A lot of people have made a lot of money and have grown their businesses by working with companies that repurpose their content on Facebook. And we know YouTubers personally that work with management companies that has, like, really helped them grow their business in a way. So it really just sort of depends what you want to do with a YouTube channel. I do sort of feel you are a bit of a...
I'm more conservative.
You're a bit of a throwback, though, to like an older time of YouTube where it wasn't about how do I maximize brand deals or build a team of editors or just make as much money as possible.
I care more about how my core audience is going to respond to whatever I do in any decision that I make. So I've turned down $1 million deals about, things we just mentioned because I was like, I don't like the risk of how this could land and my audience not like it ultimately.
Yeah.
But that's just me. And I think there's a lot of up and coming creators. And this is like what made me think of this when they say predatory, because when you're a newer creator, you just hear a giant dollar figure and you hear a great pitch. And you may not have the same experience of having like seen friends or heard of things gone wrong or know what to look out for in a contract. Is there a termination clause? What rights do you have over ownership? Do you have any editing rights or whatever, depending on what it is? And I think like that's why I do think there is a lot of predatory stuff going on from new age companies for newer creators than I recall ever happening 7 years ago.
But as a smaller creator, I think you also have to be realistic about maybe that risk is worth it if it could actually help you get to the place of being an established creator. I think it's
hard to know until you do it.
I think you have a very different mindset and calculation as someone who had already really established themselves and had the financial security.
That's not true because we were getting pitched a lot for all different things 7 years ago or 6 years ago.
No, okay.
For like MCNs and all that with people guaranteeing amazing ad revenue that I had not seen yet at that point. And I still felt like this sounds a little too good to be true, and I'm okay not taking this risk for apparently a big reward because I'm not certain. But that's me, and I'm honestly like very fiscally conservative, generally speaking.
Maybe we could give this. It's been so long, the company doesn't exist anymore. We could probably talk about this.
Don't say the name of it. Still, I don't know what you're talking about, but don't say it.
There was a company that wanted to sign you, and they said, "We'll buy ads to show on your videos."
Yeah.
And their pitch was, we will pay you more than Google.
Yes.
Basically. And that may have been true. Like, I think now, I don't think any company can really make the claim that they're doing a better job at monetizing your content than Google AdSense. But their pitch was like, we'll run more videos. People are watching your videos and not always being served an ad. We're going to just get as many ads in there as possible. So we heard this pitch. And then a few months later, that company goes bankrupt and just withholds millions of dollars from creators they owed money to.
They didn't pay out those creators.
Yeah.
And there was a huge uproar on social media. I remember that. But like the reason why we didn't go through with it after listening to their pitch, because we've listened to a lot of things, was like, I just didn't feel like I wanted to sign over them being able to decide what's monetizable, what's not. They have control over all the ad types that are delivered. If I don't want like a disgusting ad on my video, I can manually go into the back end and say, block this ad. You can't do that if you have a network who controls your ads. They'll say no. They'll be like, give every ad possible.
So as much as it was like an awful situation for the creators who signed up with them, and a lot of them lost a significant amount of money, they signed up with this more risky proposition thinking it could make them more money than working with Google, right? So like there is that sort of risk and reward thing.
And I guess that's kind of my point, is it's more predatory because newer creators don't necessarily have the foresight yet to see what that risk is because they have less experience. Whereas I've been always very conservative, and then I saw a lot of shit go bad, whether it's with like people I know, stories I heard, companies I saw that I had talked to at one point. And it's reified for me that it was a good decision for me personally to stay on that conservative side of me. Like, I am not signing my rights
Did you see the recent, like these are older examples, but like very recent topical, 100 Thieves is a gaming organization. A smaller group of gamers they had hired at one point. One of them came out and basically said like they weren't paid very well. And it kind of made I think the creator of 100 Thieves come out and sort of give his side of the story. And I actually think it's a really good example of, like, is it predatory or is it, I guess I have to explain this. Like, they had been paying these 4 guys a salary to, like, live in a house together to make gaming content. And frankly, their content wasn't doing very well, enough to really make money. In terms of, like,
views?
Yeah. And they chose to live in a house that was really expensive. So like all of this makes me think that's maybe just sort of unrealistic expectations on the part of those smaller creators. But one of the things the owner of 100 Thieves said is that like we had in their contract, they could take, I think 85% of their brand deals. like the management company gets
Would take
85% of the brand deal, leaving only 15%. I think he said like in actuality, that's not what happened. They took like 35% or something. But the fact that like someone would sign a contract with a management organization saying that they could take such a huge proportion, it's like an inversion of what should normally be the case.
Because it's not industry standard, and that's the point, is that the new creator, I'm assuming in that situation, probably just didn't know what industry standard was.
Which is like if you have a manager or an agent, right? They're probably taking between 10 and 20% of the brand deals they bring to you. Whereas, but like here's where I see the flip side of this a little bit. These guys were sort of plucked out of obscurity. They weren't really making money by streaming. They were getting paid a salary by this organization. So this organization took a big risk on giving these guys resources to maybe help bring up their channel by being associated with that organization in the first place. So there's actually sort of more nuance there, because if these guys blow up,
then it's really good for 100
would they
Thieves.
have gotten that success? Yes, it's good for 100 Thieves because they can also take 85% of their brand deals. But would those 4 guys, if they had become successful, would that success have come without being associated with that organization that was giving them those resources and things? So that's why I'm saying it's not a straightforward answer for these smaller creators.
It's difficult. I feel like if you as a creator feel like you can see a path to building something yourself, and you could see you have something unique and you love doing it, if it's me, I'm taking the independent route as long as I can, rather than just like hoping and just by affiliating myself with a bigger company that's going to rise me up, because that's not always the case. Just because a bigger company represents you does not guarantee that you're going to break through and go viral.
Certainly. Also, like, I guess the main thing you think of is, for me, is if it involves giving up any sort of ownership or control over
But it often
you
does.
and your content. Yeah.
It often does in some way. Even if they start like with you own your content, just read everything and then decide if that's actually true.
Okay. We spent a long time on that one. Hello, Cristine and Ben. This question is random, but if you and Ben had a chance to be on a reality or game show, which one would you pick? Also, The Amazing Race Canada, perhaps? Winky eyeballs?
I would lose immediately.
I would hate being on The Amazing
You want me to go on the show to quit on episode 1?
If you ever see me on a reality TV show, first of all, no one's asking. But if you ever saw me, I'm just doing it for the money, I guess. I would hate The Amazing Race in particular would be. I'm assuming we're like a couple competing on this, I guess. I guess that's not necessarily the case.
This week, a hot new band enters the villa.
Okay. You want to go on a dating show? You're trying to tell me something? All right, from Katerina Stefaki. Hi, Cristine and Ben. A couple of days ago, I returned from my vacation to Toronto, back home to Greece, and I got COVID for the first time. Oh, no. Do you have any suggestions for good TV shows or documentaries? Hope you're feeling okay, Katerina. Cristine, what have we watched recently that could help pass the time in quarantine?
We watched
Love Island. We watched Nope last night. That it was a movie. Did you like it?
I'm still thinking about it.
I'm not sure if I like it or dislike it, but it was interesting.
It was interesting.
I know a lot of people didn't like the movie. It's the new Jordan Peele movie about UFOs. No spoilers. I thought it was worth watching.
It was interesting from like a cinematic. Like I love the cinematography of it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I thought that it was well done.
I just thought the tone of it was kind of strange. I think a lot of people were like expecting it to be like a horror movie when it's kind of got like a more goofy, playful vibe. Anyway, that is just a movie. That's only like 2 hours.
I suggest? I have like older documentaries that come to mind, like Chernobyl, the documentary series.
We're going dark here.
I don't know. That's what I watch.
Okay.
That or the Challenger flight documentary.
Oh my
that was
God,
really
this is depressing.
fascinating to learn. It's real life, Ben. Like I like learning about this that I definitely learned in grade 10, but forgot about.
Okay.
You know? So being able to kind of refresh your memory and learn about like major historic events through a documentary that was made recently, so they kind of have that lens. That's what I like to watch.
All right. Anything that isn't about disasters?
I just watched disaster. You asked.
Watch Selling Sunset. That's a good way.
That's a disaster too, Ben. Oh my God, that show is such a disaster.
They've got a new one. It's even dumber. You know, it's great.
You watch a lot of that, eh?
Oh man, that's sort of my like
junk food.
I don't think we included, but this question is like, how do you guys unwind? You work so much. For me, there's just sometimes where it's just like, I'm not going to do anything for the next few hours. I'm just going to scroll on Reddit and play some trash TV, like Selling Sunset in the background.
What's my way of unwinding? I watch Prototypes, which is working.
unwind,
but
it's
I
work.
love it. It's fun. And I watch Trials in the background.
Cristine, what's your way of
unwind with
unwinding?
Trials.
Work.
I go to court, actually. I mean, not
Have
actually.
you
though.
talked about this? I
I've
often
mentioned
walk
it.
into Christine's office when she's working, and there's just like
Trial footage.
raw live footage of trials.
I don't watch it actually live, but I will go back to the live playback so I can follow the whole thing on my own time.
Because you don't want to miss it.
I want to see the trial from start to finish, whether it takes 3 months, I don't know, but I'm just like hungry for the knowledge. I just want to I like putting myself in the position of a juror, and I love court process. So I like to watch it. So I recommend you watch trials on YouTube.
You are an interesting person. All right, let's
Yeah.
just try to bang out a few more.
Okay.
Silent Day. Christine, how's your skin doing? If this is an intrusive question, feel free to skip. I also have issues with mysterious rashes, and I was curious to know if you were able to wear makeup or if you're feeling better. Thanks.
Thank you for asking, Silent Day. Sometimes my eyes feel like your display profile pic, which
What
is
does
like a
this mean?
screaming face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was on drugs to suppress the reaction that my eyes were having, but now those drugs have faded and I can feel that it's coming back because my eyes are itchy and slightly red, so it kind of looks like I'm wearing like pink eyeshadow, but I'm not. It's just the natural pink glow.
So
It's not an allergy to makeup. I just feel like I need to. I have not worn makeup in a meaningful way for like 2 years now.
yeah, at least.
Obviously, I'll still cover up a pimple sometimes, whatever. But that's not what I'm allergic to. It's more like it might irritate my eye that's like just about ready to get inflamed. So putting on eyeshadow or mascara would not make it happy. It's not because I'm allergic to this specific mascara, so just use a different one. It's not that.
It's like
just
if you're already having
if you
reaction,
already have a skin reaction or like you have eczema, which a lot of people do on your arm, if you start putting like tanning lotion or something, like it's just gonna upset it and make it worse. And it doesn't help that the texture of my eye is like kind of like crinkly and nasty. So like you don't want to put makeup on that.
So the answer is you have more knowledge of your situation, things you're allergic to, but it doesn't mean it's resolved. It's probably something you're just going to have to
It feels
deal
like
with.
it's never. I don't know. I don't want to say never, but after like 3 years basically of off and on, I feel like it's just never gonna go away completely, which is sad. But you know, you'll have to deal with my face because you have to see it if you're watching this podcast, unless you're an audio listener.
You've got a great face.
I've got a podcast face, is what this
You've got a face for podcasting. From Zoe is driving. How do you manage having multiple responsibilities and commitments, Christine? You want to give a quick answer to this one?
Do you want a list or? I get this question a lot and I appreciate it because it means people think that I have some like aspirational knowledge. I also find it hard to just tell you what to do because everyone's life and context is different. But if I had to give my best advice, whether it's for school or work or like content creation purposes,
Or balancing all these things
or
at the same
balancing
time.
it all
yeah.
at once. I feel like something that I've always done that might actually help others is make a list of all the things you have to do, but don't add it to the list if it's takes way too long to do. So don't just write
Write a thesis.
finish my thesis that I know will take 2 years. Don't add that to the list because it'll take too long to accomplish that you're just never going to cross it off your list. So what I did, I'll just use the thesis as an example, is I'd be like, by this date, I want to finish chapter 1, which is the literature review, which is like the most annoying part, but I'm going to get it out of the way and I'm going to give myself 2 weeks, which is a realistic deadline, which allows me to go back to it here and there and know that I'm going to finish it by that day. And I did all this myself because I didn't have a supervisor who was giving me deadlines. I had to make those deadlines myself, which might be true for you in your own life, whether you are in school or not. You often have to make your own deadlines, basically, in life.
In life,
Yeah.
yes.
So make a deadline and make a list of short, tangible, possible things that you can actually check off. Even if it's like write one paragraph, or even if it's like come up with a brainstorm sheet for whatever it is at work.
I do this. To-do lists are great. I do it too. And sometimes I'll add something that's like really easy just because it's like, I think it's important
Make
to give
hummus.
yourself the satisfaction
Finish my
of
hummus.
seeing some of those things being checked off your list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So break it up into smaller pieces, task yourself, and hold yourself accountable respectfully. I don't mean that like in an aggressive way, but like try your best to meet those timelines. And if you don't and you miss it for a day because like, life happens and that's okay, just follow up the next day and then complete. Don't throw away your timelines just because you missed one. I feel like that's another good point. Just because you're like late from one day because life happened, that's okay. Just come back to it the next day and then get it done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, routine and consistency is a huge part
Yeah.
of this too, right? Next one, Isabella. Ben, if you could play one video game for the rest of your life, what would it be? Donkey Kong. Next question.
That's it. Okay.
What video game would you play for the rest of your
I
life?
mean, like, I don't. Life is a game. Play life.
Great answer. For me, like, there's a bunch of, I think games that could be fun, but you can also take very seriously. I like that sort of duality.
You weren't gonna say Fall Guys?
Fall Guys for the social aspect. Yeah, like if I'm locked in a room, can only play one game for the rest of my life, maybe I'd pick a game where it's more social. Like Fall
Imagine I
Guys.
said the Stanley Parable.
Yeah, that would be hell. That'd be true torture.
Truly insane.
Yeah. Do you actually have an answer? You're more of a gamer now. I guess you just haven't played
mean-
enough games to know.
Unpacking if the number of rooms were infinite.
Yeah, there you go. Next one from Sam Manali. Cristine and Ben, what is the grossest alcoholic beverage you've ever tasted? What is it, Cristine? What's the grossest thing you've ever tasted?
If we're talking about straight up alcohol, not mixed, gin is disgusting.
Oh, what?
Gin tastes like Mr. Clean Pine Sol.
What
Or
gin
CLR.
are you drinking? What kind of gin?
It's just like so bad on its own. I can't smell. Okay, go in your closet if you're of age and smell gin. Tell me that doesn't smell like cleaning stuff.
Well, some gin is floral.
Why did I say closet? Alcohol's not in the closet. Go in your cupboard.
Where do you keep the alcohol?
Not in the closet. I don't know why I said that. There's just a closet right there. So, anyways,
I like gin. You don't like gin?
you're allowed to like gin, Ben. But I hate it.
I'm not saying you have to like it. 'Cause
You're
I
allowed
like,
to drink those cleaning products
I just don't think
at
you
your
can
own
be.
risk.
Maybe you've just never had good gin. Neither of us drink a lot, so
Mm-hmm.
this is kind of silly. But like, to me, there's stuff like gin that actually tastes like something, and some gin is good and some gin is bad. And then there's drinks like vodka, which literally just tastes like
It tastes
alcohol.
like vodka tastes like my undergrad experience.
Yeah, me too. But like, I don't really think anyone likes vodka. I think they just like getting drunk.
Exactly. That was
Okay. Next one. Actually, you know what the word?
What?
We did? What would I call it? Picklebacks? Is where
what's
like you
that?
do a shot of whiskey and pickle juice. I actually kind of liked it though, but I think
What?
most people would think that's disgusting.
I like,
Do you remember doing
I like
that? It was-
dill pickles.
we went to some bar in Brooklyn a long time ago. Picklebacks. Is it whiskey and pickle juice?
I don't remember.
Something like that. Was a hot sauce involved?
Definitely
know.
not, because I would not have drank hot sauce.
All right. And last one. How do you feel about the positive impact you've had on people's lives, Cristine? Is this something that fuels you, or is it exhausting to think about? I'm going to end with something a little self-congratulatory, but there were a lot of comments from people just sort of expressing appreciation for you as a role model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is always really nice. And I feel like I don't necessarily do PR about, donations or whatever just to get like immediate thanks. So I can be like, me, so good. I feel like what's most rewarding is randomly I'll get an email or randomly someone will tweet me and be like, by the way, I just finished my master's degree and I want to thank you because 3 years ago I was really struggling to finish my schoolwork and I listened to something you said about school or how you can do both or whatever it was. And I want to say that today I really remember what you said, you as me, meaning me. Sorry, I was speaking as if I was the person, and then I realized it doesn't make sense. When I get messages like that that are more individualized, and someone's telling me that like they graduated today and they're thinking about what I said 3 years ago, it really resonates with me, and I kind of smile, and I'm like, that's actually very cool that you thought this, and then you told me about it.
So that's not exhausting, right? That's
No,
that's great.
That's amazing.
I think it's everything that comes around it that can be exhausting, because with when you're sort of recognized for that good influence, there's also people who question whether you're not the best influence you could be, or people just commenting on you in general. I think everything that comes along with it is exhausting, but this is very much this is the kind of thing that occasionally comes across and that actually is very helpful. It makes you feel good, right?
Yeah, generally speaking, I am always happy and I do not regret anything that I've, all the good causes we've donated to or spoken about. But I guess if I like had to say what some of the challenges with that is that sometimes donating to something unexpectedly gets like people saying, why this organization? Why not this one? Or, trying to find an issue with the good thing that I did. And I find that is exhausting, or more like frustrating, I guess, is the proper emotion.
You're making this about donations, which I mean, like, yeah, you've been
but
pretty...
even with the education stuff, I still remember this, and I hate that I remember this, but like sometimes you remember the negative. When I posted that scholarship video announcing the scholarship at Carleton on my main channel, one of the comments was like, "This is really grandstanding of you," and I'm just like, what? Like, it's things like that. Obviously, like, I know that was just one person expressing a frustration, probably because they experienced something in their life frustrating related to their education or getting funding. But it's like, sometimes it's hard for me to see, like anyone would be, people reacting negatively when you think you're just trying to do good shit. And that's, I know how to overcome it, but sometimes it's hard to forget it, even though I can put it behind me.
Yeah. The education's a really good example, because like, it was a good example of the kind of messages you get now that are like kind of like overwhelming and positive, like someone saying you helped them like get through their schooling, right? That's like kind of an amazing thing to hear. But over the years of talking about encouraging people in education, a lot of people also interpreted that as you like putting down people not getting an education, which I know was never the point. But yeah, it's like even trying to do a good thing, encouraging
for some
a lot of young people to be committed to education could just result in also a lot of negativity. Like, no matter how good a thing you think you're doing,
it's human nature.
There just will be people who find something
don't
bad
like
about
it
that
because they have a bad experience or they have a different experience.
And I get that the charity one too is like, we've talked about this. Like, should we be public about when you donate to charity? Is it just PR, or like is it better to say it or not? Like, but then there was that time we opened up tabs at at a few restaurants in Ottawa for healthcare workers, and we posted about it because it's like, hey, healthcare workers, go to these restaurants to get free food
in Ottawa. Yeah.
We thought that was a cool thing to do, and I remember a few people being like, "This is so like self-aggrandizing of you," and I was thinking like, if we don't post about it, no one will know it exists. Like, the whole point was you have to publicize it. So I just don't think you can win when it comes to these things.
Yes. So that is the most exhausting part of it, is honestly dealing with like how to manage those kinds of comments. But it doesn't overrule the main point of this is like just doing good. And if you know you're doing good and you know that you're doing it in good faith and everything, then that's all that really matters. Can we do like one fun question after that? There was like one more that I thought was funny. I think it was, that one.
Oh yeah. Hey, Salto. Very serious question. If Menchie and Zyler had jobs, what jobs would they have? Like human jobs. What jobs would they have, Cristine? What would Menchie
Zyler
do?
would be a bouncer. Yeah. He would bully people out of the club. He'd be like, nope. You're not coming in. He'd be a really good bouncer. Menchie. What did I say to you earlier? I feel like I came up with it, but now I can't remember.
I can't picture her working at all. She just sleeps all day.
Okay, so
such a princess.
So Menchie doesn't like people. She doesn't want to interact with people because they give her the spooks.
Yeah.
But
she sounds like her mom a little bit.
I was gonna continue and say, but I feel like if you give her the space she needs and the calmness, she could do good. And I feel like she wants to do good for other people. So I would make her a government worker in policy that is not public facing.
Oh, okay.
Give her some space in a cubicle. She doesn't have to deal with public inquiries, but let her work on policy. Yeah. That's her job.
So yeah, Menchie would never work. If Menchie was human, she would be like the heiress to like some fortune.
What are you saying?
She would sleep all day on a fainting couch eating salmon every night.
She does that now.
Yeah, I know. Zyler would be I think you're onto something with a bouncer, but I just think he would it would be illegitimate. He would be a criminal, I think.
What?
Yeah.
What would he steal? Treats.
Food.
Snacks.
Mostly food.
He would definitely steal from dogs. I feel like he would
He'd
totally
be involved in organized crime, I think.
Ben! He would be involved.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
right.
on that note, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks everyone for submitting your questions. You all have such great questions. Obviously, we couldn't get to all of them, but yeah, let's remember that we should do another Ask Me Anything, like not just once a year.
Sure, we could do this again.
Hope everyone has a wonderful Taco Tuesday and a really good rest of the week. And
Cool.
thanks so much for watching.
We'll see you
See you later. Bye.